Welcome to the Chicago New Media Summit. Thank you for being here. My name is John Patterson, and to begin the talk, I just want to start out from the beginning. My talk really is about why I funded the summit and why this mattered so much to me. I'm glad that you're here because many of you are here for different reasons, and I'm going to address those different reasons in just a few minutes, but I'm going to talk about the reason that I'm here. When I was about 10 or 12 years old, I read a book by Richard Bach. It was called, what's it called? What? No, it wasn't Livingston Seagull. I'm blanking on what it's, it's Illusions, The Adventures of a Reluctant Messiah. And in that book, I don't know if you've read it or not, but one of the things you notice is in that book, there's this reluctant Messiah, and he wants to actually give his job over. He's tired of being the Messiah, and he gives this other guy a Messiah's handbook. And in the Messiah's handbook, there's this quote. And the quote hit me when I was 10 or 12 years old as a really, I don't know, just kind of one of those things that hit me between the eyes. And so the quote is this. It said, "Argue for your limitations, and sure enough, they're yours." And, I was a little kid, and I took that thing to Kinko's, and I made a little poster and stuck that thing in my, bedroom wall. And I had that little poster on my bedroom wall from the very beginning of, Thrall High School and everything else. And I became one of those people that really never got stopped by any limitations. In fact, I stopped believing in them. And for many people around me, when we were doing different projects or things, I would always be the guy going, "Yeah, but we can do it. We just got to find a pathway. All we need is a pathway." And I'm one of those people that believes there's always a pathway for anything. So about 20 years ago when I was in Austin, Texas, I was a painter. I was a painter, like painting. And I was a starving artist in Austin, Texas. And 20 years ago, Austin, Texas was not the arts capital that it is. 20 years ago, it was one of those places that wanted to be something and wanted to be something extraordinary. However, it was segmented. There were a lot of different groups doing a lot of different things. And so as a painter, I said, you know what, if I'm going to sell my art in Austin, Texas, I'm going to have to do something about it because no one's going to buy art in Austin. If you wanted to buy art, if you wanted to buy expensive art, which is the kind I wanted to sell, then you'd have to go to Santa Fe, or you'd have to go to Dallas or Houston or something else. So I had this really strange idea that I was going to have to get a whole bunch of people to come to Austin, the kind of people who would dump money into my paintings. All right? Okay, 20 years ago, I'm not sure that was the smartest thing, but I started to connect a whole bunch of people. In fact, I went to a meeting 20 years ago, and it was with this group, and I said that what I wanted to do was I wanted to have Austin be this huge arts capital. And this group elected me the president of that group that day. And for 2.5 years, what I did is I worked with all these different groups of people, artists, the museums, arts organizations, etc., to make sure that we were all connecting the dots and elevating everyone all together. And of course, the rest is history. So, why am I here? Well, I want to make history. What we're up to is pioneering Chicago as the new media capital of the world. And I remember writing this down for the first time. I remember writing down, pioneering Chicago as the new media capital, and it was ballsy to say of the world, and I finally said it, right? And in the moment that I said it and started to talk about it, other people said, okay, that would be really, really great. Let's get together. Let's do that. And so a lot of people came together, and I don't know if you have been following, but this thing only started 4.5 months ago. So if you didn't know that, it hasn't been around forever. It's not the second one. It's not the fifth one. This is the first inaugural event, and it's only been in existence for 4.5 months. So one of the things that's been important to this event is that there's this big, huge, what I call sexy future out in front of us. And the sexy future that I'm talking about is Chicago as the new media capital of the world. And a lot of people have heard themselves in that. Many of you may be here for, again, different reasons. You may be here because that will help you in some way. You may be here because you want to network with people. I don't know why you're here. But the point is that we all rise up together. So everything that I've ever wanted was right in my own backyard. Chicago is truly an extraordinary place. I moved here about 6 or 7 years ago, and when I did, I could not believe how extraordinary the city was. In fact, I think for the first year and a half, it was the only place I ever walked around saying, my God, I love this city. My God, I love this city. And I didn't do that any place else I've ever lived. I've never walked around claiming how extraordinary the city was, but I've been doing that on and on and on and on from all of the reasons that's extraordinary. In addition, all of the unique talents, all of the businesses, all of the organizations, we have everything we need. And perhaps all there is to do is to connect the dots. So the Chicago New Media Summit's point has been to connect the dots. And so this is about you. I can't tell you the number of people that have said, now what exactly is this thing? I don't know exactly what this is. What exactly is this thing? Is this a new media summit? What exactly is this? And I want you to know this, and I think it's most important. This really is about you. You know, I was at lunch with somebody yesterday, and this woman's been volunteering for, 4 months. And what she said this was about for her is she just wanted to have the experience of doing this on a resume. And that's what it's about for her. There are other people who, for you, it's about who you might meet here. There are other people that you hope to, connect the dots in some way and cause Chicago to be an extraordinary, extraordinary city, and we can be. You're going to see a lot of different presentations today from some of the leading people in the industry, from advertising agencies to television industries, etc. And many of them have heard the call, heard the opportunity of being together as a real possibility for Chicago to explode. So this is about you. Later, you'll find out a little bit more about that. This is not the end-all. Today is not the end of something. It's the very, very beginning of something. And throughout the presentations that you'll see from now until the end of Tuesday, you're going to find out more and more about how this can impact you, how you can find yourself in it, how you can, connect with it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the future. The truth about the future. The truth about the future is we have no idea. We have no idea in terms of the future. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I know that as all of these technologies develop, as all of them grow, as all of them connect, nobody here knows what's going to happen. I had no idea, 2 or 3 years ago that I'd be doing this. I had 2 years ago, I'd never had an iPhone or heard of it or heard of that technology. The internet is only 5,000 days old. It's 5,000 days old. And if you think about that, it's about 12 and a half years. I don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen. So one of the reasons that we started this is that when we began, we talked to a lot of people. And a lot of people seem to be waiting to find out where this is headed. I don't mean the summit, but I mean where is all this technology headed? Waiting to find out how to connect with it, waiting to find out how can I be a part of it. And there are definitely people leading the way. But one of the points of the Chicago New Media Summit is that we all gather together, we all connect the dots, and we say how it's going to go. That we began to shape Chicago as an extraordinary, powerful resource globally. So, although we don't know what's going to be happening, the position that we're taking is to lead the way rather than to watch and wait and see. So that's the charge I have for you, is to lead the way. And again, you'll find out more about that as we go. Some other things about the future that I want you to know. We're very, very excited about the future of what this is. At the end of the entire summit, we're going to unveil to you what this has become. One of the things you may know or may not have known, but the ad agency partner for the Chicago New Media Summit is Kramer Krasselt. They're one of the they're very large ad agency here in Chicago. And we've been connecting, they've been working with us to brand this, to develop this. We've also had the Chicago Tribune involved. We've had several different people involved at these meetings to begin to shape and forward what this is. And we're going to unveil that for you at the end of the summit. Some things that I'll tell you now, because they're important to the future, is that each of these presentations today, every one of them is going to be is being taped in HD. So they'll also be available online, streaming in HD. In addition, and these talks, although they're being recorded for the next 2 days, they're also going to be recorded over the next year. We'll have different opportunities for people to present their, their wares, to talk about a new idea. So these things will be taped over the course of the year. In addition, there's a website being developed that's a very sophisticated, cutting-edge social media website that allows all the people in the community to literally build the thing itself, to allow what this is to morph and take shape as all these people and all of these industries and all this talent comes together under one roof. So what you'll see in very, very short order is a site that actually speaks to your concerns and addresses those interests, or promotes those interests or connections to everybody involved. So that will be launching soon. In addition, and I won't steal the thunder, but there'll be an event with Microsoft that we're partnering with for November 20th. Really amazing event. And then in January, we're also doing an event with the Motion Graphics Festival, etc. So this is going to continue. By the way, the summit is the wrong word for this thing. Summit is a point in time. This is actually a movement. So tomorrow, the name Chicago New Media Summit will end, and there'll be something else. And again, we'll reveal that to you at the end. Thank you very much for being here, and welcome to the Chicago New Media Summit. Thanks.